All right, welcome back, everybody. If you are new here, this is First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issue from all councils in Scouting America, both past and present. Today, we're going to take a look at Okaw Valley 116. Okaw Valley was formed in 1965 as the merger of Kaskaskia and Mississippi Valley councils and existed until 2009 when it merged with Trails West to form Lewis and Clark Council. Okaw Valley's first issue was a twill patch, and actually the only twill that they issued. Let's take a look at it here on the patch table. It is defined with its orange border, white background. We've got the gold fleur-de-lis here in the corner. There's a lot of information associated with the distance of Iron, Illinois to the fleur-de-lis, although they only produced one twill patch. So I'm not really sure why they go into such detail in the collecting guide. But it has a great rainbow in the center. I actually think it's probably the best first issue rainbow. I always thought that was kind of a fun trivia question for first issue CSPs. What council has the best rainbow on their first issue? And despite having a council called Rainbow, they don't have the best rainbow. Now, I hear all of you Land O'Lakes Wolverine people saying, we've got a rainbow on our first issue. And that's true, but your rainbow doesn't include orange and is really just a continuation of the Wolverine Council's S2, which doesn't look like Wolverine Council's first issue. And so you're kind of out of the running. Okaw Valley has the best rainbow on their first issue. Again, this is the only twill patch that Okaw Valley produced. So you can see the white background here is twill. And so this is a T1. This one does have a plastic back. And as an associated issue, they had a couple of anniversary issues that came as their second and third, but they actually reprised this design from their first issue in their fourth patch as a completely embroidered or solidly sewn patch. So this is the S4 from Okaw Valley with the dull orange border, white background, gold fleur-de-lis, and red letters. And again, it is expressed in the collecting guide to look like the T1, and it does. It's the same, except now they've sewn the white background here at the top. You can actually put those two next to each other. So the T1 here at the top and the S4 there at the bottom. Really nice patches. The rainbow actually stands out quite well. For many of you that were in Scouts for a while and might have come in contact with Okaw Valley Council members, you might think of Okaw Valley as the Popeye Council because so many of their issues actually have Popeye on the patch. But their first issues were these two, was the rainbow issue. Now, what's interesting is the first patch that Okaw Valley produced with Popeye kind of does a handoff from these earlier issues with the rainbow to then having Popeye. And we've got those issues here as well. So the first issue with Popeye is the S5. And the S5 actually comes in two variants, the S5A and the S5B. So here's the S5A with a green border, blue background, gold fleur-de-lis, does say home of Popeye along the bottom. And this one is specifically defined as the top arc of the rainbow is listed as lavender. And that is going to be the distinctive measure when comparing S5A and S5B. You can look at the back here real quick. So here's our S5A. I'm just going to leave this up at the top. See if we can sneak in the S5B here at the bottom. Here, again, the difference is that in the S5B, they say that that top arc is dark purple. And we can see this is a bit lighter, so that's our lavender, and this is our dark purple. If you were looking at these two patches online, it can be difficult to know which of the two you have, dark purple or lavender, but there is a clue when we look to the fleur-de-lis. The fleur-de-lis are not shaped exactly the same. We have a much thinner fleur-de-lis in the dark purple S5B. And so that's kind of the giveaway. I always look to the fleur-de-lis if I was trying to differentiate those two online. But this is always kind of fun. So we had the very first issue, the T1, that had the rainbow. And then, as many of you might be familiar with, so many of Okaw Valley's patches included Popeye, and this was kind of the transition from the rainbow to Popeye. The subsequent issues, many had Popeye, but no longer included rainbows. So we'll put back up here the first issue to close things out. There's our first issue of the T1 at the top. Again, our twill patch. And at the bottom, where they reprised it as a completely sewn patch, the S4. And that is the first issue from Okaw Valley. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you in subsequent issues. If there's one that you'd like to see, a council you'd like to see the first issue for on the channel, please drop it in the comments. Again, we would love to get that up for you so you can see, or maybe there's one that you've never seen before and you'd like to know what it looks like. Be happy to bring that to you in the future. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next episode.